Hello everyone, in this video we're going to learn about electrolytic cell. First of all, we need to know what does it mean by electrolysis, the process that will be taking place in electrolytic cells. Basically, electrolysis is defined as the chemical process that utilizes electricity to cause a non-spontaneous redox reaction to occur. So you need to supply electricity in order for you to get the reaction to occur for non-spontaneous reaction. It's different if you want to compare with galvanic cell, in which you don't have to supply electricity, because in galvanic cell you will be having the chemical energy to be converted into electricity. So this is the opposite of what we have had to learn in the galvanic cell in the previous videos. So remember, for electrolysis, this is going to be the process that uses electricity to have the non-spontaneous redox to happen, and this is the process for electrolytic cells. So a quick recap for galvanic. We know that for galvanic cell, you don't have to supply any outside energy or electricity in order for you to have electrical energy. So you will have the electrons to be jumping from anode to cathode spontaneously for a galvanic cell, because the process is from chemical energy converts into electrical energy. So we know that this part over here is spontaneous. But for electrolytic cell, it will use a different kind of chemical energy to electrical energy conversion. So instead of have chemical energy to be converted into electrical energy, it will be the other way around. You will have electrical energy converts into chemical energy. And this is what we call as the non-spontaneous reactions. Okay, so how do we draw an electrochemical cell? So let's have a look at the steps. In step 1, when you want to draw the electrolytic cell, first you need to draw your beaker. So you have a beaker right over here. And then in step 2, draw the electrodes. You have the anode's electrode and you have the cathode's electrode over here. The anode's electrode will be positive terminal. It's different from what you have in galvanic cell, in which the anode will be negative terminal. But for electrolytic cell, the anode will be your positive terminal and the cathode will be your negative terminal. Okay, still the oxidation will still going to be taking place at the anode. Reduction will still going to be happening at the cathode, but the terminal is different if you want to compare with the galvanic cell. Second, we can draw the electrolytes, and in this electrolytes, you will have charged ions. So inside this electrolytes, the one that you're going to be immersing your electrodes, the charged ions will be moving to the anodes and cathodes electrodes. Next, what you need to have is you need to connect your electrodes, okay? Connect both of the electrodes with wires and direct current right over here. Again, another difference is if you want to compare with galvanic, in galvanic cell, you're going to have your voltmeter right over here. But for the electrolytic cell, you will have a direct current. So this is going to be the source of electricity. and this will be moving the redox reaction, the non-spontaneous redox reaction, to move forward. And then in step 5, you're going to have the flow of electrons. You will have it from anode to cathode. So this is still same with the galvanic cell. You're going to have the reaction from oxidation to reduction, okay, from A to C, from anode to cathode. The electrons will be flowing. So these are the inert electrodes that we will be using or focusing on for the electrolytic cell component of this discussion. Example over here, you have carbon electrodes and platinum electrodes. They are called as the inert electrodes because these electrodes over here will not chemically responding to the electrolytes that you have inside your beaker. So example number 1, if you want to see right here, you will have carbon solids electrodes on the anode, and also you can have carbon solids electrodes on the cathode. You can have the same electrodes to be used for the electrolytic cell, and the electrolyte over here, you can have molten salts such as NaCl. You have Na plus liquid plus Cl minus liquid inside your electrolytes in here, and the Na plus will be attracted to your cathode, and the Cl minus liquid will be attracted to your anodes over here. Another example is when you have two different electrodes. You have carbon electrodes, which is the inert electrode, to be paired with copper electrodes, and copper electrode is more active electrode if you want to compare with carbon. And inside here, you can have a different type of electrolytes from the molten salts just now. So this is what you call the aqueous electrolytes. You have copper sulfates, and Cu2 plus aqueous will be attracted to your cathode, and then your SO4 minus over here will be attracted to the anode side. Some important tips. Comparing galvanic and electrolytic, we can say that the anodes and cathodes, the process will still going to be the same. It will be oxidation for anodes. Cathode will be reduction for galvanic and electrolytic cell, as you can see over here. But the difference is anodes will be the negative terminal for galvanic. Anodes is the positive terminal for electrolytic. And cathode is the positive terminal for galvanic. And it will be the negative terminal cathode for the electrolytic. So if you want to remember this, just try to remember what you have learned in galvanic. Okay, when you have the letter T, then you know cathode will be the positive terminal. Automatically, we can say that the anode will be negative terminal. So by remembering what is going on here in galvanic, you're just going to switch that around and you'll have anode positive, cathode negative. So that is one tip. And then tip number 2, do always remember that the process will always going to be anodes, cathodes, and the electron will flow from anodes to cathode for both. But the process of the electron transferring from anode to cathode for galvanic, this is spontaneous. So that's why you don't have to supply electrical energy. And on the other hand, the process of getting the electrons to flow from anode to cathode for electrolytic cell, this is non-spontaneous. So when that is non-spontaneous, you have to supply some amount of electrical energy so that the electron will be able to jump from anode to cathode for electrolytic cell.